Hello and welcome to episode 208 of Thrive by Additive-Free Lifestyle. We're Tracey and Jo, and we're sisters who are very passionate about asking questions and seeking information that makes us curious. Thrive is a podcast show that will help you lower your toxic load. It will guide you through various stages of life and give you permission to ask questions and seek advice on topics that you may not yet understand. Today's episode, it is all about getting curious. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was curious about additives, we wouldn't have gone down this road. We wouldn't have cleaned up our diet, helped our little girl with her behavioral issues that she was having at the time. And it was just because I was curious. I just started Googling and I just started seeking information that was making me curious. So we'll get stuck right into it. This podcast is brought to you by our Additive-Free Lifestyle app. If you haven't downloaded our app yet, head to the App Store and search Additive-Free Lifestyle and our app will come up. And it is an absolute game changer in your back pocket. Let's get right to it. So it didn't hurt me as a child. Trace, how many times have you heard that one?
Oh, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that, I would be a very rich and wealthy woman.
You are what you eat. I heard that a lot as kids. Like we were taught that in high school, especially, like you are what you eat. And that, I mean, that's been going around for a long time. So then why do we have the older generation, mostly grandparents, say to us, didn't hurt me as a child? Maybe that's because you weren't eating it as a child. And we're going to break that down today.
We are. Anyway, yes. The amount of times I've heard it hasn't hurt me, or a little bit won't matter, or those types of statements, I don't know what the right terminology is, but they're fairly toxic, really. Like that's like saying to a smoker who's just given up smoking, I'll just have one more, like a little bit won't matter. Kind of thing. Like, yeah, it does. Or an alcoholic, like just have one little drink, little bit won't matter. Because it does, especially if your child has exacerbated like behavioral issues or eczema or asthma. A little bit actually matters for everyone in any of those situations. So it really grinds on me when people say it.
It's super degrading and judgmental, isn't it?
That's the words. Yes. Very, very degrading and judgmental when someone does that. And it's hard because often, like Jo said, it will be family members that will say a comment like that. Certainly we've said it. It's certainly we've had it said to us from family members, or I've probably even said it myself at one stage when I was very first starting to understand it all. And so it's easy to say, and I get it, but I guess to help you guys understand it, here are some things that maybe you could share back either politely with those people, or just understand it yourself, because you might be in that situation of maybe not quite understanding it yet either.
I remember before going Additive-Free, it was probably when Eva was maybe 18 months, 2 years old. And if you don't know our story, the reason we decided to go Additive-Free was because she had a lot of behavioral issues and we really wanted to do something to try and help her and help the family because life was pretty out of control. But when she was super little, we have a cousin, Trace, and I remember that she wasn't giving chocolate or like any type of sweets to her little one. And her little one was even younger than Eva. So I'm going to say 12 months, 18 months old, maybe. I can't remember the, exact dates. And I remember judging her and thinking, why would you not give chocolate to your kid? Like I was super judgmental around that. And it wasn't until years later where I remember looking back and going, I'm so embarrassed to be so judgmental. Like she's just doing what she thinks is best, which is probably the right thing to do, not give your baby chocolate and sugar, but I was so judgmental on that. So anyway, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing that I want to say is when we have those type of comments, I wish I wouldn't suggest doing this because it could cause an argument, but you kind of need to want to say, really? So how's your health today? Any cancer in the family? Any hormonal issues?
Heart
How's
disease,
your
anyone
blood
got
pressure?
dementia that you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how's your health? Yeah.
How's your health?
What, head to the doctor. What kind of scripts are you on? Like, what pills are you on? So it might not have hurt them as a child, but maybe it might be hurting them now. So we have two major goals here at Additive-Free Lifestyle, and they've always been the same. One is to educate, and number two is to create awareness. So hopefully this podcast show will do that for you today.
All right. We're going to go through a couple of stats. We've got them written down so we don't miss any.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of things you may not know. During the past 50 years, now I'm 48, right, as we record this. So this blows my brain apart. So during my lifetime, the amount of synthetic dye that's been used in foods has increased by 500%. Let me say that again. During the past 50 years, my lifetime, all of Joe's lifetime, the amount of synthetic food dye used has been increased in our foods by 500%. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
The food color ingredient market size is due to cross $3.7 million by 2027. So the food color ingredient market.
That's 3,759,000,000, Joe.
Oh my God, I don't even know how to say that number.
Yeah. So $3,759,000,000 is what the food color industry is going to be worth by 2027. So if you think that they're interested in your health, they're not. $3 trillion is what they're interested in. And that's just the food color industry.
Hold on. The food additive industry.
Yes, the additive industry.
Is this 118 trillion,
Yep.
757 billion, $0.56 billion?
Yeah, something like that. It's so large that I don't even know. Yeah, I'm like Joe. It's the food additive industry. Like if you want to make some money, go make food additives for people and shove it in people's food and don't give a crap about anyone's health because that's literally what they're doing. The market size is so profitable. Again, if anyone says to me, oh, the food industry cares about your health, I reckon I would slap them across the face. I'd be like, are you kidding me? There is no doubt in my mind they give no shits about our health.
They don't.
No doubt in my mind.
So as a society, we are eating more processed food than ever before. So when you have grandparents say a little bit didn't hurt me as a child, you can now say that's probably because you weren't eating it as a child.
Let me guess, Grandma, did you eat less snacks, roll-ups, barbecue shapes, muesli bars, muffins from the supermarket, like the amount of super dupers, the amount of processed foods out there? Like I know that, so our kids are 10 years pretty much difference in age. And even in that different time, like Joe's kids are still at school, mine have left school. Even in that 10 years, I have witnessed so many more products come onto the market.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout my kids' childhood at school, so many products on the market, like even different flavored milks, different flavored drinks. Like Gatorade wasn't a thing when my kids were little. I don't know if it existed. It probably did, but they didn't want it. They didn't know it was there. And now you go to a sports carnival or a netball game and every second child's drinking Gatorade. And when did we start taking lollies to netball games instead of cut up oranges? Like, yes, we're eating so many more processed foods and it's become normal. And then when you take a plate of oranges, you're like the freaky mum, the hippie mum.
Yeah, my teenager told me I was so embarrassing the other day because I took cut up oranges. Mum, you're so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
Oh,
embarrassing.
Geez. Far out. So you know what? So we went and offered her an orange first than anyone else. It was quite funny. So this is actually really, really terrible. So not only are we talking about additives in food, but toxins in general, this stat is about out of 10 babies' umbilical cord bloods tested, scientists found 287 chemicals.
Yeah.
Now, this was done in about 2004, but 287 chemicals were found in babies' umbilical cord blood.
So scary.
But
And I remember reading that, and had they tested for more chemicals, they know they would have found more. So they only tested a certain number of chemicals, and they found 287. Like, had that range been bigger, they would have found more.
And an Australian scientist was involved in this, which was really great. So of those 287 chemicals they detected, they know that 180 cause cancer in humans and animals. 217 are toxic to the brain and nervous system, and 208 cause birth defects or abnormal development in animal tests. So a little bit didn't hurt me as a child. We beg to differ. We could argue that until the cows come home. But even though they might not have been eating it as a child, it's been decisions that have been made over time to get us to where we are today.
Yeah.
But we can help. We can fix it. We can do the best that we can do for us and our family and your family. Like there is some control to get it back.
Yeah. I know for me personally, I was 12 before I had McDonald's. So I wasn't even eating it as a child because KFC didn't come to Sydney, not the rest of Australia, but Sydney until 1961. So my mum and dad were around the 1950s. They weren't eating KFC as a kid. Didn't even arrive in Australia till 61. Pizza Hut was the 70s. Hungry Jack's was the 70s. All in Sydney, not available Australia-wide. And then Pizza Hut, like I said, 1970s. Okay. I think
what was the takeaway? The takeaway of choice
was the 80s or something.
Oh, maybe. I do remember when Red Bull became very popular. I was probably about
so popular.
I reckon I was about 19. I do remember where I lived at the time, so I must have been about 19, and it was the cool thing. So I wasn't I certainly was not exposed to it at high school, where I see people like the high school kids walk past our house and a heap of them have the huge big mother cans in their hand. So yeah, definitely eating these things younger and younger. The other thing before we wrap up is we are actually feeding our children today more processed food than ever before, but we are also feeding them more processed food than we are eating as adults. And when I heard this stat, I thought, oh, that's not true. Like, I don't give my kid more processed food than what I eat. And then I had to think about it. And I thought, holy crap, I do. Like, at the time, they were having cereal for breakfast, where I wasn't eating processed cereal for breakfast. And then in their lunchbox, they might have had a bag of little mini bag of shapes or tiny teddies, or whatever it might have been, packet options, along with fruit, Vegemite sandwich. Where my lunch was more a salad wrap, probably with ham in a colourful spinach wrap, but I was having salad. They weren't. And then after school or daycare, I'd pick them up and throw them in the back, a bag of tiny teddies or something like that, where I might have had a banana. And then for dinner, we all ate, whatever we ate for dinner. And so when I thought about this, I thought, holy crap, yeah, my kids are actually eating more processed food as a little kid to what I am eating as an adult. And I was raising them like that, like to not know any different.
Not know any different. I know my daughter's currently doing placement at a school, and she said, oh, Mum, the lunch boxes, if you ever want to know what's in a lunchbox, I can tell you, like, I'm seeing it every single day in the school. And she's in a primary school prep grade. And I said, oh, how bad is it, Liv? Like, do I even want to know? And she said, look, for the most part, they all bring fruit because they have a fruit break in the morning and they all bring certain things. But yeah, she said mostly, and she's not on the additive-free bandwagon at all, right? So, but for her to even notice, she is to a degree, but for her to even notice that, it really made me think, oh, okay, this is bad. And this is not to shame anyone. Oh my God, we are not here to shame anyone.
No.
We've done it. We probably still do it to some degree. And we're not perfect. Oh my God, we are not perfect. Please don't ever think that we are. And that's something I really want to make clear. But it is worth understanding that when you hear that, and you hear someone say to you, and you're trying to go this additive-free path, or you're trying to home cook more food, or just get in the kitchen a little bit more, or lower your toxic load in whatever aspect that might be. And when someone says a little bit won't matter, a little bit of perfume doesn't matter, a little bit of food color doesn't matter, one super duper won't hurt, just please know that it does. And you are within your rights to say, actually, it does for me and my family. And I'm going to say no today and offer them the plate of fruit. Oranges.
Well, as I said, we have two major goals here at Additive-Free Lifestyle, and that is to create education and awareness. So hopefully this has given you that little bit of, it's not all in my head. Like, I'm glad I'm not the only one that has people say that to me. And, you know, I'm going to be okay to fight back a little bit and not, why should I hold the guilt? Like, it's not actually me doing anything wrong. So I'm not the problem here.
If this has been helpful, please let us know. Please share it with your friends. Please share it with maybe the friends that maybe are saying some of those things, or maybe don't. But if this has been helpful and you're loving our little shorty episodes, we'd love a little comment, a little review. A 5-star review would be amazing. But leave us a little comment. Leave us what's helping you, what's exciting you, what you've learned from, because those comments actually help us know what type of episodes to put out. And like I said, please share this far and wide, share it, tag it to your Instagram, whatever it might be, and get this message out there, because a little bit certainly does matter.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't yet, jump onto the App Store and search Additive-Free Lifestyle. Our new app is now available for you to download. You can scan the ingredients listing so that you can detect how many additives are in that product. It is amazing. You can also search additives by name or by number, and over 300 recipes are in our app for you to be able to cook from. And you can also create a meal plan by using the recipes that are in our app as well, that will formulate into a shopping list. And it's phenomenal. You will absolutely love it. It comes with a free 7-day trial. So go and test it out. Like, it's free for 7 days. Just cancel your subscription if you don't want to continue on. So that can be found over on the App Store. Search Additive-Free Lifestyle. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you could be so kind to leave a review in the App Store, we would definitely appreciate it. And share this with a friend or family member if you think they could benefit from listening too. See you next week.